Hello, anyone who might be on or watching on the replay. I'm just sending out these links. A reminder to turn the sound off on my computer. Hi to whoever just joined. Welcome. All right, we'll get started in about 10 minutes. Hi, see we have a few people who've joined. Welcome, welcome. We'll get started at about 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. here. So get cozy, get comfy, get your fuzzy socks ready, get your comfy clothes on, and grab a bunch of pillows and blankets. I hope everyone's doing well today on this Friday that maybe doesn't really feel like a Friday. It's a strange schedule we're on right now, but it feels nice to have a little normalcy. And I teach this class every Friday. So at the end of a week, it's nice to just have an hour where you don't have to do anything. You don't have to think about anything. You can just focus on some deep relaxation. So welcome, and hopefully we can do that tonight. we'll get started in about 5 minutes. If you are here, make sure you've got your props all set to go. Today I brought 2 pillows, a knit blanket that I've kind of rolled up to be a bolster replacement. Right now I'm sitting on this blanket that I will probably later uncover or unfold rather and cover myself up with it, because in restorative, sometimes the body, well, not sometimes, always, the body will cool down. I see a few more people join. Welcome, welcome. We're just getting settled in while we wait for everyone to join. Don't forget your props if you're someone who just joined. Again, makeshift props are great. Pillows, blankets, folded up sheets, rolled up blankets, books for blocks, or rope if you have real props at home. Props to you. The bad yoga pun. I'm just going to assume everyone on the other side laughed, though, because I have no one in the room with me. We have about 3 more minutes before we get started. Oh, a few people just joined. Welcome. Glad to have you here. We have about a minute before we'll get started, so get comfy, get settled. Make sure you have some socks on hand too in case your feet get cold. You don't have to wear them right away, but a lot of times when I don't bring socks to my restorative practice, about halfway through my feet are freezing and I regret it. All right. It is 5 o'clock Central. I don't know if you can hear that in my video, if the microphone's good enough to pick it up. But the church bells are ringing in the background. A nice sound to start our practice on. If you don't know me, I'm assuming if you're here, you do, but I'm Natalie. I will be leading you through the next 60 minutes in a restorative yoga practice. Restorative yoga will be holding the poses for 3 to 5 minutes each. It's a deep relaxation yoga, so we won't be doing anything too active, getting that kind of an active yoga workout, but equally important to be in recovery, to let your muscles relax, and to let your brain relax. So let's take an hour here where you don't have to do anything. No need to accomplish anything, just to really relax with me. So to get started, we're going to do a little grounding. Before we start that, make sure you've got some props with you. Make sure you've got your pillows. I have a blanket here that I am sitting on. Another blanket I rolled up as a bolster. If you've got blocks, bolsters, all that good stuff at home, go ahead and use that. But I do not, so I had to make do. And let's get started in a comfortable position. For me, that's cross-legged position, and I have this folded blanket that I'm just lifting my hips up on top of. Sometimes it feels good to have a little lift in the hips. Make sure this is a position that you're able to hold for a hot second, because we're going to be here for a while as we get grounded and ready to take this restorative class. So once you're comfortable and you're set in that pose, we'll get started. Start by aligning your head over your heart and your heart over your hips. Feel your shoulder blades fall together and back. You can place your hands either palms down or palms up on your knees. Palms down if you feel like you need a little more grounding today, or palms up if you're feeling like you need to receive a little more energy. Let your eyes come to a soft gaze on the ground in front of you, or flutter all the way closed. Starting with the crown of the head, take a scan of the body, just moving all the way from the crown of the head to the toes, checking in on each individual part of your body. No need to do anything, no need to manipulate, just check in. Are you feeling a little different than you felt yesterday? Maybe the last time you came to your mat, or maybe this is your first time here on your mat. Are there any points of tension in the shoulders, the back, the hips? And if there are, again, no need to make any changes now. Just take note. When you've reached the toes, we're going to come all the way back and remembering those spots that were holding a little tension. Just try to relax those. Maybe your temples, your jaw, your shoulders, or your hips. Whatever it is, just let it melt down toward the earth. Bring your attention to your breath, the rise and the fall of the belly with every inhale and every exhale. And your exhales. Is one longer than the other? Or maybe they're the same. Just take note. And if they were different, now take a moment to extend whichever was shorter, your inhale or your exhale, to match the other. So you have equal inhales and equal exhales. Now let's try to make those just a touch deeper. Maybe adding one count onto each inhale or exhale. Let's take it one more step, making that breath just a little deeper, adding one more count to each inhale and each exhale. Wherever you are, when you get to the top of your next inhale, hold at the top for a count of 3. So you'll inhale with the same deep inhale, hold for 3, 2, 1, and then exhale your same full exhale. Wherever you are, exhale all your stale air out and come back to a regular breath pattern. Keeping your eyes closed, realign your head over your heart over your hips. And take a moment here to check in with yourself. Are you feeling any different than you felt when you first sat down? Maybe you're not. Maybe you feel exactly the same, and that's okay. Just take note. With your eyes still closed, bring your palms to heart center, closed like a closed book, with your thumbs resting on your sternum. If you choose to practice with an intention, this is your moment to seal that in. If you'd like to use a mantra and repeat that, maybe I am here is a good one. Today, my intention, if you'd like to use it, is just gratitude. The same intention I had yesterday in class. Great gratitude for all of you here. Gratitude for being able to come back to the breath whenever I need to. If intentions aren't your thing, that's okay. And let your arms come down to your sides and flutter your eyelids open. Beautiful. All right, yogis, let's take a little gentle movement before we move into our restorative postures. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up to the ceiling. And exhale, gentle twist to the right. Left hand falls in front, right hand falls in back. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist the other way toward the left. Right hand falls in front. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, back to center. Arms raised. Exhale, drop the right hand to the right side. Left hand sweeps over. Take a few breaths here. Option to come down to that forearm if it feels good. If you come down to the forearm, make sure you press the left hip point down into the mat. A nice full side body stretch. And come on back up. Inhale, arms to the ceiling. Exhale, left arm drops, right arm comes all the way over. Option again to drop down to the forearm and press that right hip down into the mat. Come on back up to center. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Let your right hand sweep up overhead and rest on top of the left ear. No need to do any work here. Just let gravity do the job. If you want a little more, let your left fingertips fall toward the earth. For a little extra, you can flex your left hand and slowly raise it all the way up. So you're kind of reaching out toward the left in a stop in the name of love type motion. Release that hand back down to the ground and turn the nose in toward the right armpit. Drop the hand on the back of the head. Again, no need to put any weight here, no need to press down. Just let gravity do the work. And release the hand. Let the head come all the way up. Pop the left ear toward the left shoulder and let the left fingertips rest on top of the right ear. Option to have those fingertips down toward the earth. If you'd like a little more here, you can flex that hand and make a stop sign toward the right. If you do that, you'll feel that more through the right arm than in the neck. Turn the nose in toward the armpit and let the hand fall onto the back of the head. Weight of the hand pulling that head downward. Keep breathing through all of this. Remembering that breath is a tool that you always have to deepen your practice. Release your hand and come on back up through to center. We're going to come into a cat-cow. So let's start neutral tabletop. If you're sitting on a prop, go ahead and remove it. Neutral tabletop will have your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. From here, let's take cow pose. Inhale, drop the belly toward the earth. Shine the chest forward. Externally rotate your armpits and lift your hip points back and up. Really feel the skin on the belly stretching here. On your next exhale, cat pose, curl through the spine, tuck the tailbone, chin to chest. Let's take a few of these breaths movement. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, curl through the spine. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, curl through the spine. Take a few of these on your own, taking either this traditional variation or any variation you like. I'll offer a few up for you. You can come in big circles through cat, bringing the hips back toward the heels and then coming all the way through onto your forearms and back up in large circles, back to front. You can take your circles side to side, letting the rib cage come all the way to the left, all the way down to the mat, all the way to the right and back up. If you take any of these variations, make sure you take it both ways. Or you can thread the needle here. Press down into the left hand, lift the right hand up, and then sweep the right hand all the way through in between the top of the thigh and the forearm, resting your right ear on the mat. Again, if you thread the needle in one direction, make sure you're threading the needle in the opposite direction as well. So we'll take a few moments here to take whatever variation you feel like you need tonight, knowing that you do not have to do all of these variations. These are just options. Wherever you are, make sure you equalize both sides, making sure you get whatever you need before we move on. And we'll all meet in a neutral tabletop. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees under hips. Tuck your toes under. Press the hips all the way back to the heels. Press into your knuckles, especially the forefinger and the thumb, and press the hips slowly back and up into a downward facing dog. Straighten one leg, bending the other, and then alternate, finding some gentle movement here. Bend both knees, press your hip points back and up as you press out of your hands. And let your heels drop back toward the earth. Look toward your hands, walk your feet behind your wrists. Reach for opposite elbows. Your hips here are like a hinge. You can have a slight bend in the knees. And rock back and forth, really releasing that upper body, releasing the head and neck. Shake the head yes. Shake the head no. Shake the head maybe. With a slight bend in the knee, tuck the tailbone and slowly roll all the way up, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae, head and neck, the last thing to come up. Inhale, arms sweep up toward the ceiling. And exhale, bring the hands to prayer pose through heart center and then all the way back down into a forward fold. You can pause here, give yourself a little hug, wrapping the hands if you can around the backs of the legs. Nose coming toward your knees, but it doesn't have to touch your knees. Plant the hands, step back into plank for just a moment, and let the knees come all the way down. Beautiful. Now that we are a little warm yogis, we're going to move into our first restorative position of class. So this is going to be a supported child's pose. Go ahead, bring your big toes to touch and find the outsides of your mat with your knees. Sit your hips all the way back down onto your heels and gather your props. Place the props in front of you and know that a lot of times, almost every time for me, I'm going to put the props down and then have to adjust them once I try it once. So know that, you can take as long as you need to get into it. What has been working for me recently with this one is stacking 2 pillows and then taking my bolster or my rolled up blanket and popping it kind of at an angle. So the base of it sits on the ground and then it comes all the way up. And then my knees are on the outside. It kind of lines up with my the base of the blanket with my mid-thigh. So once you find whatever is good for you, you can just drape yourself over this. You should be comfortable here. This should be something you can hold for a long time. So if you'd like to get into it, if you need to make adjustments, like I think I need to push this forward a little bit, you can. And make sure that you have your blanket close by so that if you do start to get chilly, which I already am, you can cover yourself up with that blanket. Relax your temples, relax your jaw, release any desire here, any need to control anything. Your abs might be trying to work, your hips, let them relax. There's no need to work. We do work all the time, especially in our more active practices or our more active routines. Let this be your time to do as little as possible. If you feel your attention starting to wander, know that you can always bring it back to the breath, feeling the belly expand toward the tops of the thighs with every inhale and retract with every exhale. Slowly, using the strength of your hands, press yourself all the way back up to a seated position. Start to move your props away and take your time. There's no reason to rush. We're not in a rush to get anywhere. and move the props to the side. The next pose we'll be taking is just an easy back bend with option for Supta Baddha Konasana legs, or you can have your legs just out straight if that's too much on the knees. Across the top of your mat. Bring your coma to sit on your hips, and you want to lay so that the blanket is right in that top area, that midsection of the top of your back. So that's where we want to aim when we put that down. For legs, you can bring the soles of your feet together if you want to take Supta Baddha Konasana. If it's too much, you can go ahead, pop pillows under both knees. Option also to keep your legs straight, and you can also pop pillows under your knees if your legs are straight to take a little pressure off the low back. If your head doesn't feel comfortable here and you need a little lift, you can pop a book underneath so the back of your head rests on the book. So if you're taking Supta Baddha Konasana, bring those soles of the feet together. You can put the pillows under your knees. I would also, if you want to use a blanket here, have it next to you or pull it over top of you as you lay down. You're going to lay down with your chest up in the air and the back of your head rested on the mat or on a book. So this is how my legs look if you need to check. Arms, option here to let them come out to either side at a T for a little more opening of the chest. Or if again you need to feel a little more grounded, pop that right hand on the belly and the left hand on the heart. Know that you're not stuck with the position you chose. If you chose one and you feel like a minute in you're needing a different one, go ahead and make that change. If at any point you feel like you need a blanket, grab a blanket, be kind to yourself. Pick a position that feels good and cozy for you and that you can hold for a few minutes. Relax your cheekbones. Relax your inner thighs. We're not here for much longer. See if there's just one more thing you can let go of. One more part of the body you can let sink a little deeper into your mat. One more thing you can give up control with. And slowly roll over onto one side, off of your props. And you can push your props to the side. Take your time. There's no rush here. Nowhere we have to be. I'm going to take a stretch on the side now. So once you're all the way sitting up, take a bolster or a rolled up blanket here and pop it at the top of your mat. Almost exactly where it was for your last pose. Well, you can actually pull it a little closer to center. Have a pillow on hand. You're going to lean all the way over onto your right side so that your rib cage is sitting on top of that bolster. Option to take a pillow here in front of you and let your leg, the top leg, the knee fall in front of you on that pillow. Not necessary, but might be a comfortable option. Go ahead, place your, I'm gonna have to slide back. My wall is in the way. Place your left hand all the way outstretched and place a pillow right on top of where the bicep is. Let your ear rest on the pillow that's sitting on top of the arm. And then let your top arm come all the way up so that your palms come to kiss each other above your head. So it should look like mat, arm, pillow, head, top arm. Go ahead, get cozy here. Take your time setting up. If the first way you set up doesn't feel good, try a different way. You can always make adjustments to make this more comfortable. I always like to cover up with a blanket because I get chilly. Feel the mat supporting you, the earth underneath you. There's a sense of stability that comes from knowing that no matter what happens in this position, you're not going anywhere because the earth under you isn't going anywhere. Just check in with yourself. See if there's just one more thing you can relax. Maybe it's that bottom shoulder. Maybe it's the inner thigh. Completely let it go. Let it melt into the mat. No work needed. Slowly and with control, we're going to come up and roll over to the other side. So we'll take this same position just on the left side. However you want to get there, you can get there. If you want to sit up and reset, you can. If you just want to roll over and readjust your props, that's okay too. Know that there is no right or wrong way to get there, as long as you do it with care. Know that this side might feel a little different than the other side. So go ahead, check in with this side. Check in with what feels the same, what feels different. If you need to adjust your props accordingly, you can. If you feel your mind starting to wander, remember again, you can always come back to the breath. Counting your inhales and your exhales. No need to manipulate anything. Just use it as a tool. Is there one more thing you can let go of? Your jaw, your abs. Slowly and with control, remove all your props and come to a seated position, pressing yourself up with the strength of your hands. Again, no rush. Just get there when you get there. We're going to come all the way down to the back. No props this time. This next few poses don't require any props. You can keep your blanket handy though, in case you'd like to still feel tucked in and warm during these poses. We'll start by letting your left foot, so crawl your heels up towards your hips and then let your left sole of your foot be planted on the mat. Raise the right leg and cross it over the left. So your left shin should fall just on the outside, your right shin rather should fall on the outside of the left thigh. And then let the right knee come all the way over. If it is too much, you're welcome to pop a pillow underneath this knee, but it's not necessary. From here, you can bring your arms out to T or to goalpost arms. Option to let your head or your eyes, your face, gaze up toward the ceiling or fall all the way over to the right side, gazing at your fingertips. Release any instinct to grip with your thighs or your calves. Just let those legs be fully relaxed, the hips fully relaxed. It's okay if the legs start to slide away from each other. It's just part of the process. Feel your chest falling open. Again, no need to push yourself into this twist. Gravity will do the work. This is your time to do as little work as possible. My favorite thing to do. And slowly using your left hand to guide it, let your knees come all the way back up to center. Unwrap your legs. Drop the knees to kiss the floor on each side of you, releasing that lower back. Take your time. We're in no rush. But whenever you're ready, scoot your heels back toward your hips. Plant the right sole of the foot down in the mat and cross the left over so that calf rests on the outside of the left or of the right thigh. And then let the left knee fall all the way over to the ground, propping a pillow underneath it if it feels necessary. Arms come out to a T or to cactus arms or goalpost arms, bent at the elbows. Gaze falls up on the ceiling or toward your left fingertips. Release your inner thighs. Release your outer thighs, your calves. Those abs, anything that's trying to hold on here. Just let it go. We're not here for much longer. Let's see if there's just one last thing you can let go of. Maybe it's in the jaw, maybe the shoulders. Just fully relax everything. Slowly, using your right hand to guide your knees, come all the way back up to center. Unravel the legs. Let the knees drop from side to side like windshield wipers, releasing the low back. We're going to come into a bridge pose here, a restorative bridge pose. So grab either a block, a book. I like to use my bolster here or my rolled up knit blanket. Curl the heels all the way up, or the heels all the way up to the hips. Press down into the heels to lift the hips up toward the ceiling, and then scoot the prop right under your sacrum, or that the end of the spine, right in the low back. Snuggle your shoulder blades up underneath you and relax. If you feel like something's uncomfortable or you need to make a change, take your time, make that change. We're in no rush. Feel your shoulders sinking into the mat. Feel the pressure of your prop against the sacrum or the low back. Feel your inner thighs release. Be so relaxed that you can feel the muscle sliding away from the bone. Gently press down into your heels to lift your hips up and slide the prop out from underneath you. Rock that spine all the way back down and drop the hip or the knees from side to side to release the low back. For final Shavasana today, you can take a traditional Shavasana, lying flat on your back, palms up at your sides with pillows under your knees, or I'm going to offer up legs up the wall as well. So for legs up the wall, I like to fold a blanket, a heavier blanket, or if you have a heavier pillow, and just have that on hand. And then I like my regular blanket as well. So go ahead, find a wall. If you don't have a wall, again, traditional Shavasana works just fine. You'll scoot your feet all the way up the wall. Scoot your hips as close to the wall as you can get. They don't have to be touching the wall, just as close as they can get. Take your weighted blanket and place it on your lower belly to put some weight, to put some pressure on the low back. If you'd like to be covered in a blanket and feel a little cozier, go ahead, bend the knees into the chest, wrap your blanket around the feet, and then lift the feet all the way back up, adjusting the blanket accordingly. Feel your hip points moving down toward the earth. Not because you're pushing them, but just because gravity does that. Relax your eyebrows and your jaw. Feel your shoulders melt toward the earth. Release any tension in your fingers or your toes. And fully surrender into this final Shavasana. Final Shavasana is yours for as long as you'd like it. If you're not ready to be guided out, feel free to ignore me or reach over and close your computer, your phone, or whatever device you're using. But if you're ready to be guided out, start to bring some gentle movement to your fingers and to your toes. Find some circles with your wrists and your ankles. Rock the head from side to side. If you've taken legs up the wall, remove your weighted prop and let your knees come down in toward the chest. Sweep your arms up overhead for a long, full body stretch. And roll over to your left or right side using your bicep as a pillow. Final Shavasana marks the death of our practice. Fetal pose represents the new life that we bring off of our mats and out into the world with us. Using the strength of your hands, press yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position. And bring your hands, palms together at the heart center. The love, the light, the teacher, and the student in me honors the love, the light, the teacher, and the student in every one of you. Bring your thumbs to third eye center and bow forward. Namaste. Thank you, yogis, for practicing with me tonight. Ooh, hair's a little crazy as always post Shavasana. We have 2 more classes scheduled for this week. One Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central, and then another restorative class at 4 p.m. Central on Sunday. I'm so grateful for everyone who showed up and for everyone who's watching on the replay. I'm just really infinitely grateful to have people share my practice with me. So enjoy your Friday night, and if I don't see you again, have a great weekend.